I'm here in my office, the armory that I work in, just to make a kind of an informal video. Being something of a weapons technology expert, knowing something about ballistics, and kind of trying to track and develop future technology, excuse me, in small arms. I'll have a little bit to say about the next generation squad weapons program that the DoD and Army are currently hosting. It's kind of similar to like the Advanced Combat Rifle, the ACR program back in the day, and also like the SPEW project and stuff. Seems to be kind of like the newest embodiment of that. And of course, you know, there's like new ammunition concepts, new firearms concepts in development around that, like, you know, 6.8 round, which is supposed to be a little more powerful than like 308, I guess. You know, like as history serves, like we know that usually the U.S. Army isn't actually happy with any of those results. They don't actually want to change anything. The U.S. Department of Defense is like very, or I should say like the Army in general, is like very reluctant to change to new technologies, new configurations, like some of them are bullpup and that kind of thing. And, you know, this program is really no different. What this program is about is not selecting a new weapons technology or new ammunition technology. It's really about incorporating these aim cheating devices that they're coming up with. New electromechanics involved in the aiming systems of these weapons. So there's a new red dot, which is really the core of it all. There's a new red dot optic that's got like an LCD screen and moves the reticle based on the wind that it's feeling and the range to the target that it's seeing, and you know, like some other factors as well, I'd assume. But so, you know, that makes it way easier to aim. And then they've got another device that I think is probably a little less likely to be fielded in the near future, that is kind of like a foregrip that tries to filter out some of the shakiness of the bearer of the weapon. So essentially, like, both of these devices give, you know, a typical infantryman who is, you know, not an expert marksman, not a sniper, hasn't been trained as such. It gives him essentially the abilities of a sniper or a designated marksman without the training, right? So like with the steady hands, you know, that foregrip device tries to, you know, essentially obliviate the need for the shooter to be good at holding steady. And of course, the optic tries to obliviate the need for, you know, training and ability with judging range to a target and wind conditions and that kind of thing. So they're trying to make every infantryman a designated marksman, if not a sniper. To do that, they've got to move away from 5.56. Now, 5.56 is really great for, you know, close or intermediate ranges, but not so much for long range. And that's kind of the engagement that the U.S. Army is finding themselves in these days, being very much like more offensive, fighting over greater distances, and not really in defensive, like close quarters roles, and trying to avoid close combat in general. So to take advantage of the fact that everybody's going to be a DMR or a sniper now, then they needed a rifle platform with proper ballistics. And you know, it is true, like they could have gone back to, you know, like 30-06 or you know, something, you know, they could have used like an FAL. They could have used, you know, brought the M14s back into service, but they're, you know, they're pretty dated at this point. So, you know, that's really what it's about, is changing calibers. It's about changing that cartridge to something more powerful. So they say that, you know, this new platform is operating at like 80,000 PSI or something like that. You know, there's no secret sauce to doing that. They've just made the judgment that now barrels are going to be consumable. That's it. There's nothing they can do to get rid of barrel burnout. Those kinds of pressures are going to fry barrels really fast. But I think it's it's more likely than not that's just their way out of it, is they're going to mandate that like barrels are changed after like 500 rounds or something like that. And then it's pretty easy, just with this 6.8 bullet. Obviously, it's going to be better at longer ranges to take advantage of the optic and of the stabilization system. So that's really what it's about. They don't care about updating to the new technology. This is just that they need a round with the power and reach to take advantage of the fact that they're making every soldier into a designated marksman. A couple of notes about that. Number one, I think we should all see that the Sig Sauer bid is like much more likely to be the winner of this contest, assuming there is one, than the other bids, because they're giving the Army what they want. I mean, we know what the Army wants. The Army wants to keep everything as the same as possible to what they already have, using with this new caliber and power. And of course, the Sig Sauer bid is just like a rip-off. The case is just a rip-off of NAS3, which is certainly superior to what this knockoff that Sig Sauer has going. And it's it's a traditional case. The rifle's in like a more traditional configuration, which everybody, the top brass of the Army is certainly going to want something that has similar controls and configuration to the M4. So I think that's really likely to be the winner. Everything else just has all kinds of logistical complications that the U.S. Army has a long tradition of nixing. So I think that's going to be it. But this should also inform us civilians going forward. Like, what do we need to keep up? What kinds of technology should we be on the lookout for? So I think, really what this comes down to is the optic and the stabilizing device. That's what it's going to take for an individual citizen to maintain their combat effectiveness going on into the future as well. And I think I've seen like a sight with an adjustable reticle at SHOT Show in 2020 or 2019, I can't remember which. So that kind of thing is starting to like trickle into the, rumors of it are trickling into the civilian market. It's just not really, altogether there yet. And then the stabilization thing, I think even the Army, the DoD even, spending as much money as they do, I think it'll still be a while before that makes its way out. But those are the kinds of things that we should be looking for. And if the Army is saying, okay, well, we're going to call barrels disposable now in exchange for higher pressures, then I think that's what civilians need to do. I think we need to do the same. We need to start treating barrels as disposable as they are. They're a lot cheaper, easier to manufacture than they used to be, than they were, 50, 75 years ago. Even when the AR-15 was invented in the 50s. And we need to start using higher pressure stuff. Barrel burning cartridges, like that's it. Like that's got to be it. Now, Atlas Arms is working on a project. I shouldn't say we're working on it. We have kind of a concept of a barrel made to take really crazy high pressures, typically barrel burning cartridges, but not actually burn out. It has a lot to do with metallurgy and stuff, and they will be very expensive, much more than a military would probably like to afford, but affordable for individual citizen who is dedicated to the time and cost of maintaining effectiveness or efficacy. But yeah, we got to have higher pressures. We got to push for higher pressures, and we need to start being comfortable for whatever trade-offs that entails. Clearly, this is the way that things are going, and if we're going to have optics aimed for us, well, we got to have tools that take advantage of it, just like the U.S. military is looking for. So, yeah, that's all the insights I got to say about it. I don't think any of these new bids are actually that innovative, and Sig Sauer is most likely to win because they're more the same, just a rechambering, and that's about it, I suppose. So, thanks for listening.